What's up everyone, this is Stephen Howson, this is Full Time Devils, this is the transfer review, the one video that you can watch for all your transfer news and then move on with your life. First one we're going to talk about today is Alexandro of Juventus. Now Alexandro has been offered a 5-year contract extension by Juventus. Now is this the reason that he was seeing his arse in the first place? Is this the reason that he was holding out? Is this the reason why he was dropped from the first team because he wanted this contract extension? Or had he gone to him and said, listen, I want to get out of here, and that was why they dropped him? I don't know. Is the top and bottom of it. I know that United want him. I know that Juventus have now offered him this deal according to Goal Italia. It's got to be a 5 out of 10 for Alexandro, hasn't it? It's in the balance. Next up we've got Willian. Obviously Jose Mourinho worked with him when they both was at Chelsea together, and it's the sort of player that United fans, some at least, are going to absolutely pull their hair out if it comes off that we get him, because they'll be like, oh, that's not a big enough name, we want superstars. He might be the player that actually fits the system and fits what Jose Mourinho is trying to do really well. So if we signed him, I'd be pretty happy, to be honest with you guys. Now, the Metro, bear with me, it's not what usually happens here. The Metro have had an actual journalist doing actual journalism and actual opinion in an actual article. I think the end of times is near. So anyway, the guy in the Metro is saying, he's not saying anything really, it's still Metro in it, but what he's saying is, with what's going on with Roman Abramovich's visa, with the uncertainty around Conte, maybe Willian isn't going to leave Chelsea just yet. But that's never stopped Chelsea buying or selling players in the past. They've continued this reign of, like, manager comes in, they do 9 to 14 months and then they get binned. This happens all the time at Chelsea, and the cycle of selling and buying players never stops. So I'm not sure it's as much as the manager's responsibility as this guy's kind of making it. The interesting one is Roman Abramovich's situation. I think his situation could really affect transfers at Chelsea, and it's something that's worth taking into account, and we'll get onto this again a little bit later when we talk about a different player. But Willian to United, I think Jose wants to make it happen. I can see obstacles being in the way at Chelsea. 6 out of 10. Has everyone else got a big lorry they want to drive past here? Next up we've got Arnautovic. Arnautovic's had a decent season at West Ham, and a decent season shouldn't mean that you get linked to a £50 million move to Manchester United. I mean, decent season. Not a great season, just a decent season. Did all right for West Ham. Look what we're talking about. We're talking about bang average sort of plaudits for a guy here, aren't we? And 50 million being linked with the guy. Luckily, although I say luckily, even if it was an absolute nailed on, you don't expect the player to come out and be like, oh yeah, I'm already looking at houses around Hale. Arnautovic gets questioned this weekend and he says, I know what you're talking about, but I've never heard of it. And he goes, I haven't heard of my brother, he's on his holidays, his brother's his agent. So he dismisses it, like every single player in the history of football and transfers has ever done. Has there ever been a player that's like, when there's speculation about him, gone, yeah, actually, yeah, there's some truth in that. I'm glad you asked me as I was walking through the mix zone. I've been dying to get it off my chest. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Players always dismiss it, managers always dismiss it. That annoys me with press conferences. Let's go on this little tangent here. When they get a press conference with a manager and they can ask some awesome questions to some of the best managers in the game, why do they ask them about transfers? Because they're going to knock them back every single time. Anyone who's watched one press conference, let alone been to one, should know, never ask a manager about a transfer, because he's never going to give you anything. And the quote that you're going to get out of it serves no purpose whatsoever. Journalists, pick your game up, Jesus Christ. Arnautovic, 1 out of 10, maybe. Gareth Bale, now I believe firmly that Ed Woodward wants a big cherry on the top signing every single summer transfer window. And what better cherry on the top could there be apart from the guy that scores the overhead kick in the Champions League final like Gareth Bale? Well, I guess it could be someone who scores like an hat-trick in a World Cup final. Anyway, so Gareth Bale would be a phenomenal signing for United. Yeah, he's not played full seasons. There is concerns over his injuries, but do you know what? We've got a big squad. We would rotate, and someone who's just going to not care. When we come up against these smaller teams, that part of the bus, Gareth Bale's like, cool, check this out. I would absolutely love him at United. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Just me saying I would absolutely love it if it did. Now, Greg Johnson's written an article. He's working for London Football now at the moment, so Football London, based in London. So he's thrown Chelsea and Spurs into the mix. I don't think he's going Spurs. And as we said earlier with Chelsea, with all the stuff that's going on around there with Chelsea, I'm not sure he's going to go Chelsea. I think United are in the driving seat for this one if they can make it happen. Can we pay him enough? Can we get the transfer fee agreed with Real Madrid without them doing the you-know-what? I don't even want to mention it. There's a minefield that needs to be navigated here to get Gareth Bale to Manchester United. I can't give it more than a 6 out of 10 at the moment, but trust me, if it does, there's a party at my house and Chris is paying. Mateo Kovacic, that's a new name for us this summer. And Mundo Deportivo are saying United are monitoring the situation. How exactly do you monitor a situation? Anyone know? Are they standing there like bushcam? With some binoculars? How do you monitor a situation? This is a standard transfer thing, right? This is transfer window bingo, isn't it, right? Forget bingo, let's go transfer window bingo. Monitoring the situation, talking to an agent, transfer war chest, the door slams shut, never closes gently, does it? The window always slams shut at a time that's been pre-described months in advance. This is nonsense, and United aren't going for Kovacic. Behave yourself, 0 out of 10. Another new midfielder and another new name is Marco Verratti. Now, what an absolute baller he is. Unbelievable footballer. About yay big. Now, for all the things that Jose Mourinho gets slung at him, and some of it's correct and some of it's not correct, one of the things that you know Jose Mourinho likes is a team of absolute units. Now, with Fred almost being a done deal, there's no way he's going to sign Fred and Verratti. He's not going to take the land of giants into a team of midgets, is he? It's just not going to happen like that. And I also don't think that you're going to go to Paris Saint-Germain and you're going to get someone like Verratti without having to give up Paul Pogba at the same time. I cannot see Jose Mourinho changing his system entirely to fit an absolute wonderful, God-given gift like Verratti. The sort of football that he plays is not Jose Mourinho football. Put it this way, I will be absolutely shocked if there's anything in Verratti. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10 just to excite myself about having such a good footballer, but I don't think it's happening. Now, someone who is not a little midget, and that is Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. Now, his agent, and you will definitely have recognised this name, is Kezman, who's got a colourful past, shall we say. Kezman's his agent, and Kezman's done an interview with a Juventus fan site, and he's been saying there's interest all over Europe in Milinkovic-Savic. We will listen, we will discuss, and we will see what happens. Essentially, that's just saying, I ain't telling you but obviously there's interest. I think Juventus is a very serious contender for somebody that plays in Italy. Obviously, it's like when Bayern are linked with a player that plays in the Bundesliga, they typically go there, don't they? I think it's a very similar situation in Italy. So I think as United fans, we have to watch what's going on there. If they can afford the monumental fee that Lazio are after for Milinkovic-Savic, then Juve could be a very real destination for Milinkovic-Savic. Doesn't need to move far, already knows the league, yada, yada, yada. Pretty much guaranteed a Champions medal at the end of the season. Lots of reasons for him to go. The fee. If United are going to balk at the fee, you would expect Juventus to be balking at the fee as well. Because the Lazio chairman has backed himself into a corner where he can only sell for more than he's already rejected. The comments that have come out from him where he said, look, we rejected a fee of whatever it was, I think it was 100 million last August. He ain't going for less than that. He pretty much can't let him go for less than that or he's going to lose face. So I think he's backed himself into a corner that there's not much negotiation apart from it going higher. You've got to watch what this one goes down. He might be playing United and Juventus off against each other, and obviously Kezman, if he's getting a cut of the deal, is going to be wanting that to happen as much as possible. It's a very interesting one, and that could develop into a bit of a saga. I wouldn't expect anything to happen concrete before the World Cup now. We're talking about a week to go before they're going to be seriously in camp. So I reckon this one's going to rumble on for the entire summer, and the problem is nothing's going to change for like the next 4 or 5 weeks if it doesn't happen this week, but the papers are going to keep writing about it. Milinkovic-Savic to United, I reckon it's moving further away than it is getting closer. I'm going to say 4 out of 10. So two that don't look like they're going to be happening for Manchester United this summer is Justin Kluivert. According to Team Talk, Justin Kluivert is going to Roma. Now the article, actually, it's nonsense, man. It just talks about him not going to Tottenham, but the headline says Manchester United target. Is it a United target, or, as we said a couple of weeks ago, was that his agent throwing United in and trying to make it happen? Because United have got loads of players in the mould of Kluivert already in Marshall and Rashford. Why would we need another one that's not going to play? So, yeah, whatever. The other one that's not going to happen for us this summer is Samuel Umtiti, and it's because he's signed a new deal with Barcelona. So the contract negotiation tactic that he was after, oh, give me a new deal, this, that and the other, well, it worked, didn't it? He got a new deal. He didn't sign for United. How many times is that going to happen this summer? It's actually well hard to drive from here to the Trafford Centre if you don't go that way around. Okay, it's time to talk about Fred, the Red. Fred's deal to Manchester United looks like it's almost complete. As we're recording this, obviously outside Old Trafford, there's a load of news vans down there. He's in at Carrington at the moment having his medical. How long that's going to take, we have no idea. Sometimes they take all day, don't they? Sometimes they get them done pretty quickly. I don't know if they're going to go through the whole rigmarole of having him do the million different interviews for all the different noodle sponsors that we've got. That usually takes up a lot of the day, I think. It might already be announced by the time this video goes out. Oh man, it's a 10 out of 10. He's here, innit? It's happening. Let's have it. If United don't announce him by him taking off the mascot head, then they can go f themselves. I actually can't decide if that'd be awesome or the worst thing I've ever seen. Which f***wits wrote this? That was the ins. This is the outs. Let's get struck straight into it. The first one that we're going to talk about is Paul Pogba. Now, some call them notorious. I just call them plain shit. And that is Don Ballon. And they're saying that United are going to swap Paul Pogba for Gareth Bale because why not? It's not happening. 0 out of 10. Look, let's go into a bit more depth on that. Like, it's gone a little bit quiet on the outs because I think that United make hits, but United only make hits when it's players coming in that people get excited about. Players that are going, people aren't generally bothered about. So there's not a lot of incentive to write about nonsense about players that are going because it generally doesn't work like that, unless you can just decide that you're going to swap Pogba for Gareth Bale. The other thing is, I actually think that it's not impossible to see Paul Pogba go. I think there's a very real chance that Jose Mourinho uses the considerable transfer fee that he would recoup with Paul Pogba as a means to rebuild maybe the rest of the midfield, maybe to bring in someone like Milinkovic-Savic, maybe to build a midfield that fits his system a little bit more, or what he thinks is going to fit his system going forward. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen. It's just my feeling that I wouldn't be shocked if it did happen. I think it's unlikely. It's more unlikely than likely. But it's just my feeling that I wouldn't be amazed to see Paul Pogba leave Manchester United this summer. And I haven't felt like that for a long time. So, I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. But anyway, next up, Fellaini. Now, it's not a transfer. The guy hasn't signed a new deal. Doesn't seem like he wants to sign a new deal unless we give him all the money in the world. So, I don't care where he goes.
Message for Arsenal fans.
How about that? He's going. Laters. 10 out of 10. Matteo Darmian. Now, loads of people are saying that this one's done. It seems like it's the most obvious transfer that's about to happen. Obviously, Italy aren't involved in the World Cup and Darmian isn't involved in the World Cup. So there shouldn't be any hold up to getting this transfer done. Gazzetta dello Sport, which has been echoed in Calcio Mercato, they're saying that there's some sort of a reason for the hold up. What's that reason? I don't know. Maybe Juventus need to move some people on before they sign some people. Maybe they're trying to do some sort of deal with United over the fee. That might include some sort of negotiation over Alexandro at the same time. Who knows? There's obviously moves afoot that we're not aware of, and there has been some sort of hold-up, but I'm pretty sure Darmian is going to be a Juventus player by the end of this window, so I'm still going to give it a 10 out of 10. Bullshit bingo is back, and it's one of my favourite things of the transfer window. Let's see which ones end up in certain rags, newspapers, Metro. Here's my favourite one. This one's from Mark. I can see that one happening, to be honest, because we do need someone who's a good dance instructor at United. It's clearly what we was lacking last season. That's going to help us get over 100 points next season. Absolutely nailed on. If you want to get involved, send your bullshit bingo to FullTimeDEVILS. Use the hashtag BSBingo, and we'll see which ones can come true or end up as a headline in one of the rags. Right, that's it for us for now. Thank you guys for watching. I'm pretty sure there's going to be an announcement on the way, and if you want to make sure you're first on the beat with everything that's going on with transfers, tune in to tomorrow's Transfers Today, 11 o'clock every single weeknight, and tonight we might be announcing the first transfer of the summer window. How cool is that?